Hey there, welcome back to Miss Candy's Land. So today I'm going to do a video. I'm going to answer some of these messages that I've got here about specific behavior problems and specific self-love techniques that, help you with your, how you're holding your body, where your mind is when you're working on with kids. The main thing is, patience. Patience of being able to ground yourself in that moment where you know that this is not serious, right? If there's a child screaming and they're not hurt, they really are just trying to get the attention or get what they want. You know that your body language needs to say, you're not concerning me, right? That's not concerning me right now. It's okay for you to be in your emotions. It's okay for you to be mad. And when you're ready to talk about it for a compromise, I'll be right here. And I'm never going to, not going to harbor any resentment. Now that's a lot said, but that is basically how it's done. Like I'd said in other videos, somebody wants something. It's not time for it. But it's okay for them to be upset. I mean, I personally get upset when I want something and I can't have it. Now, am I going to lay on the floor and scream about it or let it ruin my day? No, I'm not that type of person. And so that's the energy that I'm putting off. I'm saying with my energy, like, this is not serious because I am not becoming upset. There are some mantras that, some messages about, give us some of those mantras. So, one of the good one is about patience, and a good thing, like the I ams, it's easy because you just say it to yourself. You say it to your mirror, smile in your mirror. I am that I am. Patience, right? I am that I am. Emotionally regulated, right? Because a child throwing a fit doesn't have to ruin your day, even though your day maybe is in a classroom full of children, and your brain just, I know it gets to be too much sometimes, but if that's the field that we choose, we need to choose how we're going to regulate our emotions and deal with these situations with children. If that's what we're going to, make our life. So, saying things like, I am that I am, patience in that moment will actually really help to calm your body down. Okay. And then start doing something, just, whatever I'm going to do, and like, it's not even, and then they'll come closer and cry at you and closer, and you just keep turning your body and doing something else, until they stop. And that's when you turn around and go, do you need something? What can I do for you, friend? That's the best way to handle that. Again, if you don't have the energy, if you don't have that calmness within yourself, that this is what I'm here for. I'm here to wait this out. I'm here to help children learn to regulate their emotions. I'm here to teach, and I'm here to learn, right? And if you're saying these things to yourself, kids they'll feel it, I mean, you're not putting off anger. You're not putting off frustration. That just escalates. That doesn't alchemize. So by you not giving the emotion attention, but giving the child the attention when they need it, it really does make a huge difference. So with that being said, I'm going to read one of these messages for this video. And then I think I'll do some other, because this is a long one. So, it says, I have a little friend who really, really struggles with emotional regulation, goes from 0 to 1,000 in no time. OT is working with this friend as well, but I feel like a lot of strategies can work only one-on-one. But in a classroom setting, they have a really hard time regulating when upset, and they get physical. I've started letting them throw big pom-poms in a bucket because they like it a lot. I haven't put the practical life work away since they like it. So, however, getting them to go get that work and throw it, to get into it, right? To even, you love it, but to stop being lost in your emotion and go do something that you enjoy. That's like pulling teeth sometimes, is what they're saying here. They will also follow me around the classroom screaming at me, and so I'll bend down to give them a hug, and they want me to pick them up. And they're saying, they have a bad shoulder, so that's not always feasible. So then they get more upset because I can't hold them. I try to let them stand near me. Near me and next to me. So they can sit next to me as I'm teaching other lessons, but they scream to be held. Okay. So again, before there's a lesson, I mean, I'm sure there's an entrance time, when everybody comes in and you can kneel down and say, I'm glad you came here. And, and I'm so glad you made it today, friend, and give them a big hug. You're setting the tone. You're setting the tone. You have to keep, and if you have one child that seems to need more attention, or you get to this point, if they don't, then you tell them a couple extra times. And this won't be forever. This is something you'll fade out once you realize you will notice when they need it less and less. But you will go, hey, how you doing? Feel good. I'm so glad you're here, And then maybe getting that workout before there's a fit. Like maybe the first time you get it, and do this for a few days. Like, oh, look, I got your favorite thing, friend. Are you so excited, right? It really does take that you're being their friend, right? Because they'll start to respect you in that, right? And they will not follow you around for things like being picked up. They will follow you around for things like fun, But again, to start it, it's going to take you. You are going to have to be the alchemizer. You are going to have to be the one who was modeling. If you're upset, that's okay. We'll get through it, but on the terms that you have set. Right? Not force. We're not going to dominate. We're not going to push away. We're not going to say, no, none of that. It's just one hug. And if they keep falling around, you just, I'm real busy. All right, friend, I'll give you another hug in 10 minutes, And if your behavior and what you're pushing out is calm, the child will just calm. And you can't fake this. You can't. So you have to be saying something in your mind that keeps you in a calm node of your brain or of your body, so that that's what comes off of you, and they will respect it, and they will be like, okay, fine, what can we do, and then also, if the child, I don't have an age in there or anything, but if this child is old enough to talk and can understand things, then when they're freaking out, you can just make them alchemize and regulate their own emotions by asking questions like, I see that you're sad and I can't hold you right now, but what else can we do to change it? What else will make you feel better? Should we think about things that are going to make you feel better? Because I can't pick you up. I can't hold you. I have to go teach a lesson. I have to deal with these children. And whatever it is you need to say in that moment, but you always want to make sure that their solution brain is waking up. What can we do to make you feel better? And, and they're like, up. No, I can't do that. Can we think of something else? Now, either they're going to help sit there and think about things with you, or they're just going to walk away and cry to someone else. And if everybody is doing that, they will have no choice but to come around to the calmness. And they'll be happy in it. And there was no force. Nobody was upset. Nobody needed, to run away or anything like that. But again, that takes work, and that is on you. That's not on the child. We can't be upset with a child who obviously is receiving services, who has maybe some kind of neurodivergent or diagnosis of some sort. We want to make sure we're taking that into consideration, right? And if you're in a classroom, say, I don't know what kind of setting this is, if it sounds like a Montessori school, but, where you have a classroom and you feel like it's too much, and, maybe you try to get support and you can't get it, like, oh, you have to handle it. I mean, I've been in these situations like I had talked about with the constructs of schools, and everybody just thinks it's got to be one way, or we can shove as many kids in this one classroom with this one person, and they need to be able to handle it. Like, no, none of that's fair. But it's not the kid's fault. None of it is the kid's fault. Whatever happens at home, whatever kind of parents they have, it's when you're dealing with the child, they are their own living thing. Okay, with their own quirks, and whether they learn something somewhere doesn't matter. That's your job. That's your job, is to help them level up in that, no matter where they're getting it from. And I heard a lot of people go, well, I could do all this work, but then they're just going to go home and or they're going to go to this other teacher, or they're going to go to this other class or this other place, and it's going to undo everything I did. That is not true. Now, will they come in with that energy still in them from where they were? Yes. But your calmness, your welcoming, and your behavior will bring them back to your environment every single time. So they never lose it. It's just the energy's on them. That's what they've been doing. And the rules are different when they get to you. And some kids are going to need reminders every single time, for a while, plus they're making sure, a lot of kids, maybe they've had a lot of changes in their lives, and but things always go back to the same. I mean, we know what that's like, so you got to remember that too. And you have to be the one that says, we're not, in a very kind way, no, we're not going to change a rule to that, friend. We have to have our rules this way because this is how it works here. So, I mean, I hope that was helpful, but really it's an internal thing. And that child probably knows that your heartstrings are getting pulled, and you're going to give that attention or whatever it is they're seeking. But if you can start feeling a little bit stronger in yourself and saying, I have to make sure my emotions are regulated so that models for this child. As long as I'm regulated, I'm not upset, I'm not frustrated. It doesn't matter what they're doing as long as it's safe, right? And yes, if they're screaming and I can't get my lesson out, be okay with that. Be okay with that. And think we'll make it up Wednesday, because it might take 3 days for this child to finally just decide to say, okay, I'm gonna do what everybody else is doing because it feels good, because nobody in here is upset with me. Nobody in here is upset themselves or putting off any kind of negative energies or emotions, and they will really settle into that. So give it a try. Try it for 3 to 5 days. And again, be ready on Monday. I'm going to chuck this week, talk to your supervisor, everyone. Listen, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to take a few days and let this child understand what this is here. And when they come here, that they know what the expectations are, and they're okay with it. They mold into it, right? They kind of just sink into it. And like I said, kids with diagnoses, kids that have neurodivergent brains, and even just younger kids in general, they're going to press and they're going to get what they can because you're the one showing them what is possible and what isn't possible. So every time that you give in to that and let your emotions overcome you in that moment, it escalates that situation. And so, try to smile at yourself in the mirror, and, that gives confidence, because when you picture yourself with a smile. So you can have something to put into your brain when that child's crying, because maybe that's a trigger for you. I mean, I get that. I tell teachers all the time, if you find yourself being triggered a lot, you need to take a break. I mean, you need to figure out if this is really for you, because this can be a very triggering job, what you can't tell, I'm not going to tell a parent that because it's their child and they don't, it's a whole different scenario. But if you're a caregiver and they're not your children, you got to keep telling yourself, these are not my children. They're going home a little later, and I'm going to do my best to model peacefulness, cooperation and contentment. Like, that's what I'm going to be showing no matter what children do around me, because eventually, man, if you've ever worked in a potty training class, you only got to potty train one. And the rest of them are going to think, what is he doing? And it just, bam, 2 weeks, the whole class is done, right? So just remember that. You can use other kids as examples while you're working quietly with them. And then when they're crying at you, you can say, well, right now, Timmy is listening to a story. If you would like to listen to the story with Timmy, you can. But if not, and you can move your bodies away. Just continue to move your bodies away. At that time, you're also teaching Timmy there something very, very important, which is patience himself, right? You're teaching Timmy how to handle adverse situations. He doesn't want to hear that kid cry. He wants to hear the story, but you're teaching him tolerance, because we're talking about, and we're the patience of this. We got to show him. We need to show this child is crying, Timmy, how we can, figure out how to make ourselves feel better and have a great time, right? So I hope that's helpful. And I thought that one might be a little bit of a long one. If you need more like mantras or things that help you, self-love and be able to be that model, because it is hard. I'm full of emotions. I'm a Cancer. Born in July, I'm governed by emotion. But if I can do it, you can do it then. Right? You can say, I am what I am, I am that I am. I'm patience, I'm strength, I'm peace. And as you're saying that in your mind, you will notice as it flows to the room, that things just become peaceful. Maybe that child finds some peace, even if it's for a split second. Take that split second and say, what can we do to make you feel better? Because I can't pick you up. What can we do to make you feel better? Because I got to teach this lesson. So what's going to make you feel better right now? Okay, we need to find something to make you feel better. And you've set a boundary, but you're letting them know, I'm compassionate and I'm in cooperation. Okay? All right, I hope that was helpful. You guys have an excellent Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.